looking at the polling, and it's not simply the polling numbers, it's not how would you vote in a general election tomorrow, it's those crucial, the sort of the undercard. If you ask pollsters about it, they say, yeah, those are the things, they get the headlines, but what's really important is who do you think is the most a suitable person to be the Prime Minister. Theresa May wins that ahead of Jeremy Corbyn by a country mile, and of course there's no one else that you could consider as being the Prime Minister. And the second thing is, which party do you most trust to look after the economy? And the Conservatives win on that as well. They won on both those two things in 2015, and people were slightly blindsided to the fact that they then got an overall majority where they thought they were going to fall short of that. But Theresa May is doing better than David Cameron on both those measures, and that will have played very considerably into her thinking.
And how significant do you think that the local elections will be in terms of when people come to make up their minds in the general election?
Well, Diana she was talking, fighting a brave fight about the local elections. The fact of the matter is that most of the local elections are taking place in rural England and then throughout Scotland and Wales, and nobody was really expecting Labour to have a particularly good show in England, because these are not by any stretch their strongest areas. There are no elections in London and only some mayoral elections in parts of metropolitan England. In Wales, the comparison year is 2012, when Labour under Ed Miliband did extremely well, and nobody was really expecting Labour to be able to do anything like as well in Wales this time, even if their result was perfectly respectable. So there will be lost seats there. And similarly in Scotland, where the SNP now sort of steamrollers all before it, the attention was much more going to be on, whether the Conservatives could pick up more seats and perhaps more influence on councils. And Labour still currently holds a handful of councils in Scotland and is very likely to suffer the indignity of losing control in Glasgow for the first time. The great sort of flagship Labour area of Glasgow, which of course voted for independence in 2014 and gave the SNP a clean sweep in both the 2015 general election and the 2016 Scottish Assembly elections. So wherever you look as a Labour politician, and Diana, what I suspect privately, is trying not to look very far and hard, there isn't likely to be much news coming on May the 4th, and that will just simply reinforce what may well be the narrative of the general election campaign. OK, Colin Rallans in Newcastle for us. Thank you very much. Well, we are trying to bring you more from Theresa May while we are just briefly waiting for that. We haven't talked much about UKIP. Is that significant in itself, Chris?
It's funny that we've barely mentioned UKIP this morning, isn't it? I think that rather explains the different landscape that we're now in after the EU referendum last year. We've got a different leader of UKIP. Paul Nuttall's now the leader, not Nigel Farage. How they will do at this election will be very important, how they play up against the Conservatives. So it's a very different landscape.
Krisha, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you there. Robert Peston has been speaking to Theresa May. Here's what they had to say.
Great.
I'm ready to come to your house knocking. I'm ready to call you on the phone. I'm ready to come to talk to you with a better walk. I'm ready to come to say, touch your gun. Touch your gun. Touch your gun. Good night and God bless you. In this country who understand anything about preventative medicine. There are things that came in modernization of our earth. What do you do about preventative medicine? You are drinking miraculous bush because you have no money to go to the doctor. You rub bit in your head or course in the mouth. For anything, you have nothing. All kinds of things, some things that you know, I never do. But we have to use all kinds of things. All of a sudden, we got a group of people to go to check us. In the village, we sick. Let us go to the hospital, we sick. We sick. Because we don't have money in supply that we can go for preventive medicine. People have take more than the doctor to check that, you're kind of off for the way of the place. People have a lot of weapons all across the most dangerous. You have no money to go to dangerous. You hold them all and send with black and scatter all over the mouth. We change that. They do history. They don't make that. They don't be insane any psychological report about the development of Barbados, but in the reality, talk to anyone who will do it, and they will tell you. But then you have a man who wants to turn the clock back. He wants to turn the clock back and put us back in the same position today that we were in yesteryear. And we must say to him, no, it cannot happen. We will go on the map and change the course of history. I want you to listen carefully. Because just over a year ago, the water authority paid out to a certain company, known by certain people, the sum of $600,000 for equipment and materials to be delivered to the Barbados Water Authority. I want to repeat it. They paid the sum of $600,000 for materials and equipment to be delivered. Do you know that to today, none of those materials and equipment have been received by the Water Authority? But again, a few months ago, they were ordered to pay the sum of $270,000 for a contract. There were no quotations, there were no tenders, there was no competitive bidding, and so confused are the people in the Water Authority that the head of department has written to the ministry and said, I beg you, please give me some guidance because I feel exposed, I feel confused. And the Water Authority still has no audited accounts for the last few years according to the Auditor General's report of this year. And I say tonight that whoever is responsible for calling that audit, they must call, because I know the rest of the facts. And I am not ready to release them yet. I know who is the company. I know who owns the materials. I know who is related to who. But still soon, not only do you have leadership justice, not only do you have to change the law after you appoint the man in order for him to work, but it comes again. And that was done after the Barbados Water Authority, where you appointed an executive chairman, and once again you have technically to change the law. But some people were so wise that the law still didn't change today. So you have one man appointed against the law. You have two men appointed against the law. Will you believe that tomorrow morning a third man is going to take up a job that we got to amend the law for? And I want you to listen to me carefully. Because tomorrow morning, the 6th of June, and the people who are students of history, you will recall tomorrow as the day when the troops landed at Normandy in World War II. And I will announce that today is the launch for Army Day. Tomorrow morning, a man whose moral strength is not very clear, who has never practiced an ounce of medicine in Barbados, will take up duty as the Director of Medical Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in circumstances where the law requires the Director of Medical Services to chair the Medical Staff Committee. The law, not the minister, not the chairman, not the doctors, but the law requires the Director of Medical Services to chair the Medical Staff Committee. But you know what else the law requires? the law also requires that doctor cheering is a doctor who has practiced 12 years in Barbados as a doctor and 6 years as a consultant. So this is not a serious person to be appointed to a high position in government, water authority, chief justice, and WQEH, that they may have to go and change the law for this gentleman to be able to legally do his job. Barbados can do better. And let me tell you that after 40 years of service to the Barbados Labour Party and to my country 27, I am not in this for me. I'm not in this for me. I want to tell the whole family of the Barbados Labour Party, this is not about me. But this is about restore Barbados. But I brought my daughters to this meeting tonight, because I want them to live in a country that is better than the one I live in. And I want your children to live in a country that is better than you live in. And I want the whole family of the Barbados Labour Party to show this country, if given a chance, no matter what, if the challenge that we face, we will make this country a better land. So I officially start this campaign by putting this issue before the people of Ireland. Can we do better? And if they say yes, we can, yes, we must, and yes, we shall. I have been to the mountaintop. I know what it is to be at the mountaintop. I know what it is to occupy the promised land of leadership. But for me, this is not about self nor validation. I am already fulfilled. I cannot say that it means nothing to me to be a Prime Minister. I have been a Prime Minister more for a longer period than any other citizen of this country. For me, what matters is not that I should become Prime Minister, but that the Barbados Labour Party should become the next government of the country. And therefore I want the body to live in a sea. I want to have a pastor to live in. I want Abraham to live in. I want my grandchildren to live in sea. I want the Labour Party stand there and they are all of them to win the seat to win the full life. Because the Barbados Labour Party has been and will continue to be the greatest force of good this country of Ireland. This year, the Supreme Court judgment will be